It took me a while. Excuse me. It took me a while to understand that everything ain't for everybody. I'm going in reverse now in the audio book. So I'm gonna be jumping all over the place now, but I'm going in reverse. I'm looking back now from the hindsight perspective now. Everything ain't for everybody. We was getting so much money at one time. It was this one guy that stuck out to me. He was a guy that had his hand in everything, but he couldn't keep no money. Anywhere we went when we went out of town and we were showboating a lot. He needed a ride. When we got to hotels and checked in hotels and other places, but he was around all the candy. He was inside of the store. He was an employee in this guy. So he had a weakness about him that was from the pity standpoint. You just had to have pity on him. You wonder why he could never come up with no money. Anyhow, I was in and I got this from firsthand information. And I'm not gonna name drop. I definitely not gonna name drop. But my guy, he had a van. This van, he would use this van to move. And this van, he made it like a special compartment that when you got inside of the van, you couldn't see out. So if he picked you up from the public supermarket and took you somewhere, when you got out of that van, you was inside of a garage. You don't know where you was at. You understand? Whatever your order was and you picked that up or whatever, and you went to do what you do. But this guy was, he kept 2, 3 of them things around. But he just could never come up with no money. So this van would change colors from month to month. If he used it to go do something major with it, he would come back and put it into the paint shop. It ain't like now you could take it and just wrap it and keep it moving. But he took that van to a shop. And while that van was at the shop, it had all type of Birkins, Louis bag, Gucci bags, and everything in it. And one of the nosy guys that worked at the mechanic shop noticed when you open the door, he seen they wasn't painting the door jam. You could see the truck that just kept changing colors. That guy that worked at that mechanic shop had a cousin for the DEA, and he dropped the jewel on him about that. This guy that I'm talking about, all he had to do is not be a simpleton slapstick. Let me repeat that. All he had to do was not be a simpleton slapstick, a gumshoe, a goof troop. He was at the hotel and he had 3 of them whole things up in the room, and he was down at the pool side. And while he was at the pool side, this nigga forgot to go and renew the room. And while he was down on the pool side smoking, a maid went into the room and discovered those 3. God bless her soul. God bless her soul. She went in there and called the police. That's over 100 and some $1,000 street value, and she working minimum wage. He got arrested for that, and that was the domino effect to the whole thing during the collapse. So I wanted to come on and say, when I was little, they used to call niggas who talk so much, excuse me, niggas who talk so much, they used to call them tattle-tells. When you got up a little older, they called them snitches. But certain people was in situations and you knew that he was going to morph himself into that role. He was going to grow into that role, because he couldn't get no money. You around all this, man, you working at the Cocaine Universal Studios and you can't have no fun. There's a problem with that. You understand?